Hi there, from a very, very remote area of Brazil, in the north of Brazil. Very, very beautiful. I will forewarn you, there are only sand roads here, and the only mode of transport that they have in this part of Brazil are the quad bike 4x4 with the really loud engines. So if you hear those in the background, my apologies. I've chosen a time when most of them have gone to the beach because this is a remote fishing village. But I wanted to record this video today to discuss books. Obviously, this is one of my top subjects. But I wanted to share with you something that's been coming up for me recently as I've been creating this 7-month Authority Mastermind collection. Well, the Authority Mastermind collections. Because what I see happening is a lot of people are just writing what I call pamphlets. They are just a lead magnet. They actually don't offer a lot of value. They're just a way of people collecting other people's emails so that they can market to them. And whilst I understand that as a businesswoman, the human inside of me, the bookworm inside of me, and the social activist inside of me doesn't actually quite like it. I might have a lot of work to do on this, but I'd like you to hear me out because there are lots of us who grew up in a family where we could not ask questions. We've grown up in a world where we've been made to feel small, or we've grown up in an environment where we've not allowed or we've not known who to go to for answers. We have a lot of things going on in the world right now, and there are a lot of subjects that a lot of people don't want to talk about. There are situations that are happening where people need information. The media is so distorted. Websites can be edited at a moment's notice, and a lot of the information that we're seeing is not actually coming from somebody who knows what they're talking about. It is a journalist that's getting paid the big bucks for a story or trying to make their way with a sensational headline. And there's not a lot of books out there or news articles out there that we can trust. So one of the reasons why I created this Authority Mastermind collection was because there are 7 basic steps of any kind of business. That's leadership. And that's understanding leadership from the past and what it has taught us and where it's led us to right here, right now. And then the second element of leadership is, who are we as a leader? What does leadership mean to us as individuals? And where do we see it going? What type of modelling of leadership do we see happening in the future? And what can we create? And learning from some of the greatest leaders in the natural world. So that are the first 2 modules of the leadership aspect of the course, of the mastermind program, whatever you want to call it. And then I wanted to look at the cultural aspect of business. But the cultural aspect, because we're in a world that's made up of so many cultures. Now, I'm doing my PhD at the moment, working towards my PhD with Oxford at the moment. And one of the modules that we're working on is culture. And we're looking at the small cultures, we're looking at the national cultures and the subcultures and all these different in cultures and family cultures and all of these, and what actually is identity. And what's really interesting is people are so rooted in their cultural identity. So for someone like me who lives a nomadic life, who doesn't live anywhere but lives everywhere, who doesn't feel that she belongs anywhere she goes but feels like she belongs everywhere she goes, culture has brought up a lot of things for me. But whether it's the culture within our local community, within our family, within our social groups, within our business, or within the organisation we work for, or the political culture that we're seeing unfolding with a lot of the games that are being played, culture is an incredibly important aspect of business that sometimes gets overlooked. And I've always said to people, if you are hiring the wrong people in your business just to fill a gap, or you're accepting a job within an organization just to get money, but it doesn't feel right, and you don't feel that you belong there, you are actually costing the business money. And you're also costing yourself a lot of money. And the people that will actually sign up for my masterminds will already know this to some degree. But I'll obviously be taking them a lot deeper. One of the next things that I've done on this mastermind is I've created a module that's based around social justice and human rights, which are two very, very incredibly important subjects to me. And because for me, when I was out in Egypt living through the Egyptian uprising, I was interviewed by CNN and they said, why is it that there is a white woman here protesting with the Egyptians? And my answer to him shocked him, because I turned around and said, well, if my human rights aren't recognised, then nobody's are. Because it's their human rights today and it's mine tomorrow. And not a lot of people know about their human rights. This is why all these things are happening in the world, because people don't know their human rights. People are getting arrested for things they didn't know when they didn't break the laws. You know, a lot of the laws that we're seeing implemented aren't actual laws. And a lot of the laws are being manipulated, or we're being told that we're not allowed to do something when in fact we actually are. And if we're actually going to fight back against a corrupt system, we need to know our human rights and we need to understand what social justice is. But as leaders, those people who will join my Authority Mastermind, as leaders, it's our responsibility to make sure that people understand these aspects of our lives, the social justice elements and the human rights elements and the cultural elements and everything about leadership. Because the thing is, if we as leaders are not the ones that are sharing it with our audience, or we're creating a business, or we're the head of a massive organization and we do not understand this, then the people that work for us probably don't understand it. And the ones who do understand it, they have got a very good chance of bringing us down. Now, it's not about us acting out in fear. This is about us actually stepping into our power and going, you know, I love humanity. I love myself. I love other people. And I want to be the very best version of myself. And I want to help other people become the very best version of themselves. And all of these things that we're seeing in the world that we do not like seeing happen, when we all turn a blind eye and we actually pretend it's not going on and we bury ourselves in our day-to-day lives, which I know a lot of people do, and I have been told on many occasions that I make people feel uncomfortable because of the things that I talk about. If the things I talk about make people feel uncomfortable, it's because they already know that they are ignoring the important things and being subjected to what I call the magpie syndrome and distracted by the shiny objects. They're distracted by the looking good. They're distracted by the big house. They're distracted by all of this, that and the other. And they're not actually paying attention to the things that really matter. The things that make us uncomfortable are the things that our soul is screaming at us to actually deal with. And the more we ignore it, these things that make us uncomfortable are still going to be there tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. And you know, and we've stayed silent. So we are as guilty as the perpetrators. So then we would go on and do a module which would actually be looking at why is it that we are ignoring it? What is it about ourselves? Why do we not feel that we are worthy of actually helping to tackle this situation? What is it about ourselves that has us hide away from it? We don't think that we're big enough to deal with it. We don't think that we can make a difference. We are trapped in an ego story. We are trapped in imposter syndrome. And the thing is, when we're trapped in that space, it's not just the world as a whole and all the social justice and the human rights and all these cultures and failed leadership models that are holding us back in just our business life. It's every area of our life, our family's life. And we're teaching our children to ignore these problems. Let that sink in for a minute. We are teaching our children and the future generations that it's okay to ignore someone else's pain and suffering. And I don't know about you lot, but I don't want my children to ignore pain and suffering. I want them to be part of a solution. I want them to do their bit, however big or small that is, to help make this world a better place. Because why are we here on earth at this point in time, if not to make a positive difference? The sixth module that we'll be talking about is the branding. The branding of what it actually takes to brand yourself and to brand your business. Now, I'm not talking a hot iron printed on your ass like a big cow in the field or the sheep or what have you off to market. I'm talking about the branding aspects. We have so many people out there talking about branding, and yet they don't know anything about how to brand themselves. What are the important things? They don't know. They look at the colors, they look at the fonts, they look at the imagery, they look at how you're showing up on social media. But if all of that is not built upon a sound foundation of social justice, leadership, cultural diversity, human rights, and actually removing your ego from it so that your social media branding and your storytelling actually means something and actually resonates with people on a really deep level, and your branding isn't actually allowing them to reach for something a lot higher than themselves, then why are we even branding? As leaders and as ascended masters, why are we even here? We know as ascended masters that we've come back here at this point in time to lead from a very different space of awareness. It is our duty to do this. This is why we notice things and then we choose to ignore them. Those people who are not suited to this program are not even aware these things are going on. They're not even aware, but the fact that you are aware says that you're here to do something about it. And that guilt that you feel about not doing something about it is your soul speaking to you, telling you to do something about it. And the thing is, you're so afraid to go out publicly and say, oh, you know what, I'm going to give a voice to this problem. I'm going to give a voice to the voiceless. Or I'm going to use my business skills, my organizational skills, my success and my influence that I already have created to actually bring all of these community programs, all of these organizations together so that they can share best practice, so they can share resources, so that they can mastermind together, so that they have a cohesive voice. So this problem that they're tackling can actually be, the problem that they're tackling can be resolved a lot quicker, or elements of it can be resolved a lot quicker. But we need to give these people a voice. And that's why the final module in the Ascended Masters is all about how we use the marketing and the PR and the media to get our message across. 7 units, and these are essential in any business. So it doesn't matter whether you're coming from the corporate world to run a business yourself. There is a 7-day program. There is a month-long program, and there is a 7-month program. And they all come with very different price points and all very different payment plans. But even if you don't invest in any of them, these are the kind of things that resonate with me. And one of the reasons why I want to deliver it and actually deliver this content. And if you do the 7-month mastermind with me, there are 6 other experts that are coming on board that are some of the most incredible minds and leaders and award-winning individuals this world has seen. Some of them work at the very top of government. Some of them work with A-listers. Some of them have been at the top of some of the biggest organizations, and they are the pioneers in their industry. They are the voice that people listen to when it comes to those specific subjects. We're all a hell yes to this program. And we're here to support you in either taking your step from the corporate world and systematizing your way through this program to set up a business that's so heart-centered and so driven by social justice, so that you can not only serve the clients in a way that you want to, but you can serve them in a much elevated way. You're ascending to become an ascended master. Or you might already have your business up and running. You might already have an incredible team, and you want to take these elements to actually transform your business into something that actually tackles a problem or a challenge that we're seeing in society that's so close to your heart, and you said, you know what, enough. I can't sit back and watch this happen anymore. So me and my business, me and my team, we're going to do something about it. I'm going to join this course, and I'm going to bring on some of my team, and we're all going to do it. You might even be a chief community officer at the top of a very large organization, of a corporation in America or the UK, wherever it is that you're doing this. And you say, you know what? I understand that me and my business, me and my team of fellow directors, we need something like this within our business, because if our corporation does not embody these elements right here, right now, then those who are almost at the point of being a corporation are going to take over, and we're all going to be out of business because you are, or you're going to have those within your organization set up their own business. And they're going to take members of your team with you and actually tackle these problems. Again, that might be a scarcity moment. But that's what will come first. And once you've got that out of the way and you've dealt with that, you then start to see that if you and your organization do not start dealing with these social justice issues, and you don't start dealing with the things that you have you lying awake at night, because you know your organization is not heart-centered enough. You know that your organization does not do enough. Those things that are keeping you awake at night while your business is earning millions. Those are situations that are keeping you awake at night, knowing that you can hear those children's screams. You can hear those women being dragged through the streets. You see the elephants dying and the white rhino is now gone. Whether it is an animal issue, whether it's a human issue, whether it's a political issue, whether it's a prisoner issue, whether it is a climate issue. The 11 people that join each and every single one of these masterminds, they are with you. They feel the same. They're like, I can't deal with this anymore. I can't ignore this any longer. And they wake up. And they come together. And the 11 of us, or the 11 of you that join me, the 12 of us will get together and we will create something so powerful. And the business deals that you'll do with the other people. The investment I'm asking you to put into this isn't just money, it isn't just time, it is your heart investment. And we all know that those of us who know anything about a return on investment, we're looking for a minimum of a 10x return, as Grant Cardone says. We need to 10x our investments, otherwise it's not something we're interested in. So whatever it is that you invest in this, it's not just going to be returned on your money. It's not just going to be returned on the knowledge that you gain, the contacts you make, the future deals that you'll do together. It's going to be returned on the night's sleep and the peace that you have inside of you, so that you know you did something about it. That's what the Ascended Masters do. We do something about it. Whatever it is, whatever that something is, we do something about it. And we write a book along the way, a book that actually has value to the global economy, the global situation. We're not just writing a book to get a few email addresses or to make a few quid or a few dollars. That's not what writing books is about. It's not what being an authority is about. We all know that author is the root word of authority, and there's so many people running around that at the moment saying that they're an author, and they're not. Yes, they published a book, but you know what? I used to work in a restaurant and I used to call myself a waitress. I used to work in a restaurant and I used to call myself a chef. I don't carry those titles with me anymore. I used to be a hotel manager, but you don't see that on my bio. So why is it that somebody who wrote a pamphlet for a lead magnet chooses to call themselves an author, even though they don't write books for a living, even though they don't write something powerful that elevates them to being an authority? To be an author is to be an authority on a subject. And if you are writing a book that does not position you as an authority, you have misunderstood the word author. You have misunderstood what it takes to be an author. Because if your book is not changing the world and you're only using a book to get email addresses and you're only doing it as a landing page giveaway, you are manipulating your audience. And if you're going to manipulate them at this point of their journey with you, where else are you manipulating them? Where else are you lying to yourself and to other people by calling yourself an author? You're not an author if you've written a 10,000 word book and used it as a lead magnet and just written an essay and published it, because you've not become an authority on anything. Now that might be a really tough pill to swallow for some of you, because having that word author on your bio is something you've always dreamed about. But really, is that book that you published, that 10,000, 15,000 words, is that book really something you're proud of? Is that a dream come true? Has that positioned you as an authority? Do you make money from it every single month? No, it doesn't. It doesn't bring you joy. That's why some of you don't even talk about it anymore. And if you have a book that you have written that you don't make money from anymore, consider why you're still hanging on to the title of author when, you're not hanging on to the title of paperboy or waitress or sales administrator or graphic designer. It is a past job title. It is not the one you currently have. And if your book has not declared you an authority in something, you are not an author. Not a real one anyway. It was just a job you did, or you've done something to manipulate an audience to gain their email address, or because your PR agency told you you needed to write a book as a lead magnet, as a way of getting interviews on podcasts or on summits. I'm not very popular with these opinions, and I know I'm not, but I don't care, because it's important for me, because someone growing up where I could not ask people for questions about the things that were in my head, about things going on in the world, I turned to books. I needed knowledge, and I had no one to ask. So I dove into books. I went to libraries, I went to bookstores, and I bought books, real books. Books of substance, books that taught me, books that educated me about the world we live in. And then I bought another book on that subject, and I cross-referenced them. So I could figure out, okay, well, if this book is saying this and this book is saying this, where are the commonalities? Where are the differences? Why are there differences? Your book is something that can gift somebody access to the world, but it's also a book that actually gives someone a voice that doesn't have a voice. Whether that is the voice of somebody who is struggling or is having a traumatic life, or whether it's somebody who needs the information to give that person a voice. This is why I've created the Authority Mastermind. This is why I have created a very, very small container, a small space for 11 people to join me. And it might just be a small space of a small number of people, but the people that join that space, I say it's small, it's not. The energy in that space is going to be phenomenal. The thinking in that space is going to be so deep, so wide, so expansive, because we are the people that truly get what's going on in the world. We are the ones that truly understand how important this work is. So if you're ready to ascend, to become an ascended master, and you're really ready to put your money where your mouth is, instead of talking the talk in the cafe or on a Zoom call, if you're really ready, then message me. Or send an email to hello@dawnbates.com. Or even better, go to dawnbates.com/authoritymasterminds, book a call with me, and let's see how we can move forward. Because it's not just me that's here to support you. There is a whole team of people ready to support you. And you've ignored that knocking on your soul for far too long. You have ignored your soul screaming at you. That's why you've got sleepless nights. That's why there's more. So I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for listening. I know this has gone on for about 25 minutes now, but I just wanted to share all of this with you because it's important. It's important we understand all of these things. I'm looking forward to working with you, to collaborating with you, and helping to give people voices, and looking forward to supporting you into becoming a real authority into the things that you know really truly matter. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk with you soon.